Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is me, Veronica Burnett, and I'm welcoming you to another Coffee, Tea, and Me. So, I'm going to give a few of my friends to join in before I get started because I stream this live onto my Better Days private group on Facebook. And if you're part of that tribe, then you get the benefit of these conversations every second and fourth Saturday of the month. And then every Wednesday, we have a quick chat. Now, sometimes it varies during the week if we are all busy and can't get together, but every Wednesday at 8 p.m. in the Better Days private group, we have a quick chat about various topics concerning us women. Um, and so today again is Coffee, Tea, and Me, and I have my tea today. I was going to have my juice that I did last night. I love juicing. I have which was my favorite is one cucumber, two Gala apples, one green Granny Smith apple, and just a bit of ginger. That is my favorite juice of all times. Welcome, my friend, whoever you are that just joined me. Welcome. Say good morning. Please grant StreamYard permission to see your name so that I can speak to you personally. Say good morning to you, and we can have a conversation. All right, so I have two screens open right now. All right, so today, I was just talking about what I have to drink this morning. I have my tea instead that one of my friends, Latasha Wells of Wellsness Matters, that's WELLSNESS Matters. You can go to her website. She blended this special tea for me because I'm prone to getting headaches, well, migraines. And so she made this tea specifically for me to help fight these migraines. And I drink it in the morning before I feel anything start to happen. So I know usually when I'm pouring my tea right now, usually when I have a very busy day, by the end of the day, if I have not had enough rest or water or food that day, then I will have a migraine the next morning. So I have my little tea is therapy teapot that I steep my loose leaf tea in that she made for me. And let me just say, it has been doing its job. I've drank it every day this week. Some days I have 2 cups. And I add a little orange blossom honey to it just to add a little sweetness to it. So I have my tea. I hope you have yours. Let me know what you're drinking. Who is this? Good morning. Good morning. I want to say good morning. Thank you for joining me. Hey, my cousin. Good morning, honey. I'm so glad you were able to join me today. So listen, I'm going to get started right now because I know you have a busy schedule. All right. So today's topic is how to maintain or keep your peace when you must deal with toxic people. And many people say, oh, just get that person out of your life, cut them out, and you're good. That is not always the case because sometimes those toxic people are your family members. Sometimes those toxic people are people that you work with, they're your husband or spouse. They are your kids. Can you believe it? Um, Good morning, friend. Thank you for joining me, Legina. But yeah, they're your parents. They are people around you. They're your best friends, people in your friend circle, they're colleagues. These are people that you have to deal with on some level throughout your life. Some people you can't get rid of. And so I decided to talk about this today because I experienced that this week. I've been trying to deal with a toxic person in my life for quite a few years now. And so let me just tell you a quick story and then I'll tell you why. So, of course, if you've been following me, then you know that I met got pregnant, no, met, moved in, got pregnant, had a baby, and a wedding all in 11 months' time. Now, if I backtrack before meeting the person, I would not have, and I think about what I did and where I was at that point in my life, I would not have moved forward in a relationship with anybody because I wasn't ready. Had I spent more time in therapy, I would have found out more about myself that led me to be in a relationship like this. And so, fast forward, for about 5 years, we were not in contact with each other. And then finally, they pop up on the scene. And so, for a little while, I felt like for the sake of my daughter, I needed to be as nice as possible, be as accommodating as possible, and be as accepting as possible, just so that she would have this person in her life. And every time they talked about coming here or seeing her, I got so anxious inside that I had nightmares. I cried. I talked about this a lot. And when we talked on the phone, we would argue like so bad. We would argue so bad. And finally, they stopped, and I was okay with that. And then I sat with myself and said, hey, you don't have to give in to this. You don't have to give in to their negativity. So fast forward, the other day we were having this long, heated conversation, and I kept trying to bring it back to the most important person and matter, which is our daughter. And they wanted to keep going back and rehashing the past and talking about the past and spewing all this ugly stuff at me. And I wanted to keep refuting it. I wanted to keep saying, no, that's not true. This is the way it happened. This is the way it happened. And then finally it hit me. Why are you trying to rationalize with a toxic person? There is no rationalizing with a toxic person, a person who gaslights everyone. There is no rationalizing. So I had to figure out how to govern myself around that. And I said, I'm not arguing anymore. I'm not giving information, not giving ammunition. So let me just chill right here. And whatever you want to do with your life is what you do. But I still have to deal with him because of her. All right. So we're going to get to how I deal with it. But I want to share with you right now the definition of toxic people and toxic relationships. And so you all know I am a teacher at heart, so I always have my notes, okay? And because my memory is not the greatest, I'm going to read to you the definition that I found because I want to sound educated, okay? A toxic person is anyone whose behavior adds negativity and upset to your life. Anyone whose behavior adds negativity and upset to your life. I know you're already thinking, this person, this person, this person. A negative relationship is defined as, and this is according to Dr. Lillian Glass, and she has a book titled Toxic People, and it was written and published in 1995. So you can look her book up, and if you want to read more, please find her book. According to Dr. Lillian Glass, a toxic relationship is any relationship between people who don't support each other, where there's conflict and one seeks to undermine the other, where there's competition, where there's disrespect and lack of cohesiveness. So they don't support each other. There's conflict. One person tries to undermine the other. There's disrespect and a lack of cohesiveness. You did not, come out. No, I didn't let the other person come out, Legina. I had to keep her calm because I don't want to go back to that person. I don't want that other person to come out of me because then she disturbs my peace. So I keep that part of Veronica quiet and I tell her to just chill. All right. So think about the relationships that you have right now where you're in the relationship with the person. It could be a love relationship or a friendship, family member. They don't support you. Everything that you talk about doing, they don't support you. You are trying to change your life, make different decisions, make better decisions, but they're not supportive of that. They find something negative about it. They find something pessimistic about it. Okay. That's a toxic friendship or relationship. There's competition. So everything you try to do, they have to do it better, or they have to do something else to one up you. That's not a healthy relationship or friendship. It's toxic because for the rest of their lives, they're envying you and they're not going to do whatever they can do to help you. They may even try to sabotage you so that they can make themselves look better. I'll get to that in a second. And there's a lack of cohesiveness. So when you're in a relationship and you have to work together in that relationship, each person must pull their weight. Each person must do their part. You are supposed to cheer that other person on, affirm that other person, and vice versa. And if that's not happening, it's off balance and it's not healthy. It is toxic. So again, I know you are thinking right now because I went through a whole list of people. Thank God the list is not long, but I went through that list and saw, thank God I let you go. And I figured out how to deal with you because you disturb my peace when I talk to you. All right. So what are the types of toxic people? The types of toxic people. Now, this list is long, and I'm going to give you the types and I'm going to give you their traits. So if you are taking notes, you may not be able to grab all of them. You can definitely come back and watch the repeat of this. And if you want the audio of it, just let me know and I will send you the audio so that you can listen in again. So there's the narcissist. They only care about themselves. They lack empathy and they truly believe that they are better than everyone else around them. I have dealt with a narcissist. It is nauseating, okay? The energy vampire, the energy vampire or the energy drainer. These are the type of people who give, they make you feel tense around them. They make you feel very tense. They drain you of your energy and they create problems and feed on negativity. Now, who do you know that is sitting in a room with you or in a group with you and they find something negative about that situation? And if there's any negative vibe in the room, that's what they're going to latch onto. That's what they perpetuate rather than let's see the good in what's happening or how we can turn the situation around. They criticize and they are bullies. You have those in friendships with other, with your peers as well. The controller, or the manipulator. Now listen, this one right here hit so close to home that I almost threw my entire laptop, my paper, my pen, everything across the room because I know I have dealt with people who are controlling. When you have been in abusive relationships with people, that is one of the main things. They want to have power and control, and they will use any method they can to get that, to gain that power and control over you. They will even manipulate a situation to have power and control. I know of people who have been married for years, and the female has been the one to manipulate in the situation to get what they want. And it fell flat. It absolutely fell flat because the other person wasn't having it. So the manipulator or the controller, they try to control everything. Everything. They need to be in charge of every decision. – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – They make you feel like you can't do anything right. I can remember cooking breakfast one day, and I was doing scrambled eggs, okay? So I did the scrambled eggs the way I always did them, the way I learned to do them. Now, mind you, I scrambled the mess out of those eggs, okay? They were so little small chunks all in the pan, but they were cooked. And I got, is that the way you scramble eggs? That's not how you cook scrambled eggs. Let me show you how you cook scrambled eggs so you can learn something. It was edible. It was seasoned. It was cooked. Breakfast was ready. So why do I have to go back and get a lesson on cooking scrambled eggs? Yeah. The manipulator. They want to make every decision for themselves and others. And they pretend to like you and other people. They pretend to like you and other people. And I can remember, like, in abusive relationships, toxic relationships, when, for me, I'm not the person who wants someone. Good morning, Ebony. I don't want someone to make a decision for me. And that is probably why he and I butt heads so bad. If you make a decision for me now, now that I'm a grown woman and secure in myself, I have 5 fits, okay? Maybe 5 times 5 fits, all right? I don't want you making a decision for me. And so the manipulator and this strong-willed person that I am, we butt heads. But that was toxic for us to be together anyway, because he couldn't get his way, and I wasn't going to let him have his way. I wasn't going to let someone tell me what to do with my life. I'm grown. I'm capable of making smart decisions and choices for myself. And so anyway, the manipulator and controller, the compulsive liar. Listen, those compulsive liars, they have you sitting here thinking, did I see what my eyes saw? Was it real? Because this lie that was just told to me was just amazing. Okay, it was just great. They tell white lies constantly. They manipulate and gaslight you. Now, let me tell you what gaslighting is, because in the world of when you have been or come out of an abusive relationship and you have been going to therapy and talking to different people about yes, that you're crazy, when you've been talking about it and they've talked to other people, they got a different narrative. They've gaslighted things. They make you feel like you are crazy. So, for instance, I can say until I'm blue in the face, yes, you did attack me when I was holding our child. Yes, you did try to choke me. Yes, you did slap my phone from my hand and it went across the room. The other person was like, no, that never happened. I never laid a hand on you. Never. And they say it with such conviction in them, you know? So gaslighting, they manipulate a person into questioning their own sanity and reality. Now, I didn't have to question it because I know what really happened and I have pictures. They convince their victim that they're mentally unfit or too sensitive. Now, yes, I was convinced in the very beginning that I was too sensitive because he kept telling me I was too sensitive. I cried every day. Every day I cried. And he was like, you're too sensitive. No, you were verbally and emotionally abusing me. You were manipulating me, and I didn't know what was going on. I was confused and frustrated because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what gaslighting was. I didn't know that I was being manipulated. I'm going to get to the reasons why it's so easy for that to happen to us in just a moment. And I'm going to hurry up and get through these. The drama magnet, the person that loves drama and gossip. The green-eyed person, that person who plays the victim all the time. They minimize other people to feel better about themselves, and they can't be happy for anybody's other fortune. They cannot be happy for anybody else's fortune at all. They blame others for their misfortune. That right there burns me up. Okay? It burns me up because you've made a series of decisions in your life, and because they were not smart, this is where you are. But it's always somebody else's fault. Not when you're 50 years old. It's no one else's fault. You can make decisions. There's too much information out there. There are too many resources out here for people to say it's someone else's fault. It's too much. They constantly seek attention, and they talk mostly about their excuses for failing. My daddy wasn't around. My mama abused me. So that's why I hit you. That's why I'm not where I need to be in my life. Now, I am not minimizing someone else's hurt, excuse me, or pain. I'm not saying that some of that has not contributed to their lack of self-respect or self-esteem or their lack of drive. I am not saying that at all. What I am saying is we cannot use that as an excuse to stay where we are. You can't use it as an excuse. They are too old for not having. Legina, I can always count on you to keep it real. Yes, indeed. Yes. But okay. So yeah, they come too far in life to stay where they are. And so with me, I've realized that that person is going to stay in the past. That's where they got stuck. Some people get stuck in their past and they can never move forward. Everything they do in their lives is based on what happened on a particular day. And for them to move past that, it requires healing. It requires therapy. It requires dedicated work to moving from that place. And so I'm saying all of these things right now because we have to examine ourselves as well to make sure we're not the toxic person in the room, and make sure that we are not the toxic people in the relationship. That's what we have to do. So here's some of the characteristics, and I'm going to go really, really quickly because I want to get down to the nitty gritty of it all. The characteristics of a toxic person. And the reason I'm spending so much time with this is because you have to understand who you're dealing with. You have to understand who you are dealing with in order to create your strategy for keeping your peace. So the characteristics, they're hypocritical. They cannot take criticism of any kind. Never admit to being wrong. When they can't admit to being wrong, they go right back to it's someone else's fault. It's somebody else's fault. Or I'm sorry you feel that way. We're going to get to that one in a second. They play mind games. They are extremely manipulative. They always have to win. They are self-serving and selfish. They have a tendency to lie. They lie constantly. They love drama. They cannot be trusted. If you lie, you'll steal. Okay. Expect blind loyalty, but they're not loyal themselves. They twist everything you say to benefit them. They will not take no for an answer. They lack healthy boundaries. They are punitive when they don't get their way. Yes, there are some people who, when you decide that you are done taking their crap from them, or you don't give in to them, they get mad and they withdraw their affection and their love. They withdraw and withhold their money and finances from you if you depend on them. If it's children involved, they keep their children from being around you. Or if they are the parent to take the kid, they get missing and they're not involved anymore. It's punitive in some kind of way. They get you back in some kind of way. Um, they give you the silent treatment. They bully. They expect favorable treatment. They are entitled. They're envious and jealous. I'm going to stop there because the envious and jealousy part, I can remember a time where I started hearing from this person. You think you're better than everybody else. You think you are Miss Perfect. And no, I never thought I was better than everybody else. I thought I may have some good standards that I tried to uphold, and I was conscious of that. But I never thought I was better than everybody else. But because they didn't feel good about themselves, they deflected on me. And they wanted me to feel like they were feeling for whatever reason. But it didn't work. And they are neglectful. They're neglectful. So they neglect your feelings. They neglect your love. They neglect the fact that they're supposed to be a partner with you. They're very neglectful. And so a couple other traits that I wanted to share. They cannot apologize or admit when they are wrong. So let me tell you with that non-apology. So I had a situation with a young lady, and I thought we were cool. Like, I really thought we were so cool. We laughed together. We talked together. We prayed together. We've cried together. And I've supported her. She supported me, so I thought. And when I told her no, I told her no to a specific request. And it was important. And I really needed to say no because it was something that I was working on, a project I was working on, and I said no. Well, she went around me and went to someone above me. And that person came back to me and said, hey, can you do such and such and such? And, this person said blah, blah, blah. I think I looked at this man like he had 5 heads because I couldn't believe that my friend did that. So for me, at that time, I held back. I didn't talk about it because I was processing in my mind. How do I approach this? Was I being too sensitive? I really thought about what I was thinking about with this subject. And then finally, I went to her and said, hey, when you did X, Y, and Z, I really didn't like that. And I felt like it was a stab in the back. You went around me, and I didn't appreciate that. And then for that reason, that is why I've been distant, and that is why I have not said much to you, because this really hurt. Instead of her hearing me, her response was, well, I'm sorry you feel like that. That is not an apology. That is not accepting your part in it. That is not saying I was wrong. That is you not being willing to say, I am sorry, and apologize for real. It took about a year later with me making some changes where she came back and said, I understand why you said what you said and why you did what you did. And I'm sorry, and I hope you forgive me. But it took me changing. So here we are. Now, we're at the point where we figure out why those types of people are why they attach themselves to us, and how we attract those people to our lives. And so I wrote them down because I didn't want to miss anything. 1, if you are a people pleaser, you will attract a toxic person because you are loyal. You want people to like you, and we want people around us. And so by any means necessary, we'll allow them to be who they are in our space. We will adjust our attitude. We will adjust our personality. We will adjust our speech just for this person to be around. And no matter what they do and how they do it, we're going to do what we can to please them. We're going to go places with them just to please them. I knew good and well that I had outgrown going to clubs. In my 30s, I outgrew it. But I went because my boyfriend wanted to go. I was so out of place there. But because I wanted him to continue to like me, he was totally opposite of me. Because I wanted him to continue to like me, I went. Now, that's not huge, and it's not where it was abusive, but I changed who I was for this person. And he wasn't always the nicest. We won't go into that. But I wanted him to be pleased. And so, because we are people pleasers, they see that like blood in the water, like a shark sees blood in the water. They are coming for it because they can do whatever they want to do. You have high loyalty. That's another one. If you are a person and you are loyal to a fault, oh, they know they're in, because you are going to be around and you're going to be loyal and loving and kind to them. And they're going to manipulate situations where they can stay in that situation with you. And you're going to be loyal. They're going to do whatever they want to do. They're going to lie as much as they want to, because you're not going anywhere, because you're loyal to a fault. Forgiving. Hello. How many have a forgiving heart? I know I'm that person. And I try to see the other side, and I try to give people another opportunity to get it right with me. Even after I've told you how you can stay in good with me and you mess up, I still give you an opportunity. Well, after a while, those opportunities run out with me. But if you are a forgiving person, they're going to stick around. They're going to stay. Lie, cheat, steal, withhold from you, neglect you, let you down, disappoint you. They are going to stay around because you are forgiving. You're forbearing. You are not easily offended. So they do something, they hurt your feelings, they try to compete with you. But in your heart, you're like, okay, I'm not going to be upset about this. I'm just going to keep it moving. And they know that. So they continue their behavior, and you continue to swallow and push it down. That's toxic. It is one-sided. You're kind, very kind-hearted. They will stick around a kind-hearted person. You're selfless, very giving. You go out of your way to help the person. You go out of your way to research for the person while they sit around and do nothing. I can remember the person looking for a job, or say they're looking for a job. And I would just be on the computer, like boom, 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 boom. Try this place. Let me redo your resume. Let me do this, this, and this. And they sat on the sofa doing nothing, because selfless Veronica is going to do it for them. And you're naive and trusting. So I was very green or naive back in the day. It took some time, some learning, some self-reflecting, some purging to get to the point where I'm not blindly trusting people. Now, yes, when I meet you, there's a little trust that you are bringing your true and authentic self and not a representative. But I'm not going to trust you with my fortune. I'm not going to trust you with my life and my future. You have to earn that. And I'm not going to be naive enough to think that you would never disappoint me, or that you don't have any negative traits that may bump heads with me. But when you're naive and you don't know any better, they see it and they come at you and they get you and they latch on to you, and it's hard to get rid of them. So now we're at the point where, let me see, does anybody know? Let me have, not borrow, but let me have $100. And if you are the naive or the giving or selfless person, then you are going to be the one to give them $100 of your $150 in the bank. That's who we are. That's who we used to be. We're growing out of that now. And so we're at the part where, how do you deal with toxic people, toxic relationships? So first of all, you have to know who you are. Let me turn my page because I have so many notes on this one. Number one, You have to identify the toxic people in your life. You have to pay attention to how you feel when they're around you. Do you feel anxious when you're in their presence? Do you question your own life and your dreams when they are around? Like, have you spent time talking to them and telling them about what your life goals are? And when you leave them, you're thinking, well, I don't know if I should do that now. I don't know if that's a smart decision. I don't know if that's the thing I should do. But before then, you had it all planned out from A to Z. But when you got around them and they told you all the negative things that could happen, that might happen, that's when you start questioning. Could and might happen. But you already know the upside of what could and might happen. But you go back and you take on their thoughts, you take on their negativity, and you start to question whether what you thought about was actually smart or not. Are you the same person, or do you have to change who you are and mute yourself around them? Do you have to change who you are or mute yourself when you're in that person's presence? Number 2, stop reacting to toxic people. Stop reacting to toxic people. When you stop giving them the reaction they need, it takes power. And you take back your power. When you react to them the way that they want you to, like when he comes at me with something ugly from the past, he's waiting for me to jump in there and say, no, that's not it, and blah, 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 blah. And we go back and forth. He's feeding off of that and waiting for his chance to jump in there and say something else mean or give another jab. But when I say, is that all you have? I'm tired. I don't feel like talking about this. So if you don't have anything to say about this person, dates and times about this person, I have nothing else to say to you. Have a wonderful day. That gave me my power back. That took power from him. And we no longer have to discuss it, because how do you come back with from how have a good day or enjoy the rest of your day? Number 3, understand what makes them toxic. Remember that they harbor deep insecurities. They may harbor pain. They may harbor disappointment. Someone let them down in their lives. Someone abused them. And I'm not saying look at this as to give them an excuse. This is saying, I understand where you are, and I'm sorry you're hurt like this. But that has nothing to do with you. So if that person is feeling all of this, it has nothing to do with you. The way they come to you and at you and try to manipulate you and hurt you, it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with who they are, how they are wired, what has happened in their lives. It has everything to do with that. And not you. Not that we are perfect. Right? We cannot fix them. We absolutely, no amount of love, no amount of gifts, no amount of money, no amount of forgiveness. We cannot fix another person's hurt. That is for them. And that leads me into number 5. Is it 5? We're going to say it's number 4. Suggest that they get therapy. Suggest that they get help. If you know that they are hurting like this and have experienced this and it's coming across at you and other people around you and you notice it, if you are in a position to talk to that person, you can say, listen, I think all of what you've been dealing with all your life, I think you might want to get some help. Or have you considered getting some help? Have you thought about talking to someone in the past? I know someone you can talk to. Excuse me. So suggest that they get help for their issues. Okay. I was talking to a lady not long ago. Let me just get a drink of tea so I can get my throat right. Thank you. So I was talking to a lady the other day, and she was saying how she recognized in herself that she was being negative. that she was being more negative than positive. And she realized that people didn't want to be around her because she was so negative. So she started praying, like really, really praying that God would help her and help her to not be so negative and to change the way she saw things and life and other people, that she wouldn't be envious or find fault in other people, but she could celebrate the other person. And she could not be negative, but be more positive. And God answered her. So, yeah, she didn't have to go to the traditional therapist or psychologist or counselor or coach, but she went to God. The thing is, she got help for her negativity, because yes, that negativity in her can lead to manipulating people. It can lead to being narcissistic. I have to say that really slowly. It can lead to all of that. And because some of that is insecurities within, and it shows out in so many different ways. 4, 5, decide for yourself how you want to relate to them. How important is that relationship to you? That's right, Legina. They have to want it for themselves. People have to want better for themselves. And if they don't, that is not up to us to make them or make them see the light. They have to want it for themselves. All we can be is light. So think about, how important is the relationship to you? So is this relationship worth keeping? Is the relationship worth throwing away? Some relationships you don't need to keep. Some friendships you don't need to keep because it's just not healthy for you, and the season of that friendship or relationship has run out. But what if it's your mother? Or what if it's your father or your children? It's the people that are related to you. So, yeah, I do have people in my family that I love dearly, but the pessimistic, I think that's the word, side of them drives me bananas. Or the negativity in them drives me bananas. Or the victim in them drives me bananas. So I limit my interaction with them. Love them dearly. Would do for them if I can. But I can limit how my interaction is with them. We'll get to that. What would be healthy for you in that relationship? So for me, it was not calling every day like I used to, not listening to every negative thing that they had to say, not following up with my daughter's father, not feeding into the negative stuff that he was saying to me, not responding. With the other young lady that I had the issue with, I stopped telling her things. I stopped telling her important things. And we deal with each other as we need to. We deal with each other as we need to. Am I still friendly? Very much so. That is who I am. Do we still have conversations? Yes, light conversations. Are they personal? Nope. Nope. Are they project related? Sometimes, but I know what I need, I know what I want, and I will speak up for myself all the time going forward. So when you know what you want and how you want that relationship to look, you follow through and you consistently follow through. So even with raising children, my daughter is on punishment right now. She would be so upset if I told you this. She's on punishment right now, and it's going to end soon. But I am such the softie for her. So in the past, I would say, well, no TV and no shopping and no this for a week. And by day 2, I have forgotten. And I go right back to the way things were. And I'm hugging and kissing and all of this stuff, right? This time, no, it was in the forefront of my mind. Consistency is key. Consistency shows the other person that you mean what you say, and you require respect, you require love, you require for children to follow through and be obedient. You have standards. And so you govern yourself accordingly, and you make sure that the other person understands this is it. This is what you're getting. And this is what you have to do in order to relate to me. All right. The next one is set boundaries. I'm sorry about that noise, y'all. My daughter keeps running back and forth. Set boundaries and have an exit strategy. So, number one, stop telling people your business, because sometimes they will use that. Let me tell you, when you tell someone your business, be sure it is someone you trust and you know you won't hear it again, because people who are toxic will bring that up and throw it in your face and try to hurt you. I know, because I've experienced it on the worst level. I thought I was being open and honest because I wanted this marriage to be built on truth. I wanted him to know who he was getting. I wanted him to know that I had changed so much in my life and I had grown so much, and I thought I was ready. So I shared information about my past. And to this day, they will bring it up. To this day, they will throw it in my face. So be careful what information you share. You don't have to share everything. I'm not saying lie. I'm not saying be dishonest. I'm saying if it is not to edify and grow that relationship, they don't need to know. Especially if you've already come through it and that is no longer your story, that is no longer your life, you don't need to share it, because a narcissistic person, a toxic person will throw it in your face and will hurt you with it. So be careful with what you share. Disarm them by not giving them information that they can use to hurt you. So yeah, your best friend may not need to know every step that you're making in your life when it comes to your business or growth or a new and budding relationship with a guy. They may not need to know all of that. Limit your time around them. So choose what you do, choose where you go. If you know you both like concerts and you're okay to go to the concert with the person, go to the concert, but you don't have to go to dinner afterwards. You don't have to grab lunch or tea afterwards. Thanks. It was fun. See ya. Okay. You don't have to go to dinner parties at their home. You can meet for coffee and that can be quick and leave. Um, Limit telephone conversations. So my mom used to tell me that when you're on the phone with someone, anything past 15 minutes is gossip. And I was like, what are you talking about? So I'm going to say to you, anything past 15 minutes can turn to something else. So limit how much time you can talk to that person. If you know that that person brings you down or makes you feel bad about yourself or makes you think about your life differently or question your reality, if you know that they are going to start abusing and start asking for money, no. Hey, I just called to check on you, make sure you're good, say hello, how's the family, blah, blah, blah. And then, okay, I'll talk with you later. Get off the phone. You don't have to stay on there and listen to everything they have to say, because then that's going to drain you of all of your energy. Why? You have control over what you do and how much you allow someone in your space and how much energy you give to a certain person. Stop giving them the opportunity to provide input in your life. They don't need to provide input. They don't need to give approval. I know we want mom to approve of us. I know we want dad to approve of us and what we're doing. We want them to be proud of us. And sometimes it's not in them to be that, to do that, or to give it, because they don't have that approval of themselves. They didn't get the approval from their family and their friends or wherever it is that they need it and from whomever they needed it. So they don't know how to give it. So what we have to do is stop expecting that from them. Don't give them the power, or don't give them the responsibility of approving you and providing input in your life. Now, if it's someone who is not toxic, then yes, someone that you trust and someone you can give sound, that can give sound advice, absolutely. But if you know that at every turn you're going to doubt yourself later, then no. You take that back and you give yourself the approval. You give yourself the input. You find a mentor or someone else who understands what you're doing and will support you. Sometimes that support is not going to come from family, and we have to get to the point where we understand it and accept it and move on. And move on. And then number 6, find new friends. Cultivate healthy friendships. So I know I've said it before. You have those people in your inner circle, and then you have people in your outer circle. Those people in your inner circle should be those who support you, who love you, and that you can give that same thing to you. It's reciprocal. They are loyal to you, and it's all reciprocal, okay? In whatever way you need it, and in whatever way you give it, it's reciprocal, okay? And then on the outer circle, you have those friends, you're friendly with them, you're good with them, you hang out with them, but they don't know all the intimate details about your life. They know some, but not all. And you love them. And then you have those people that you have on the outskirts, those people that you can't get rid of because they're family, but you can definitely limit how much exposure and access they have to your life, okay? But cultivate new friendships. It can happen. I prayed for it and it happened. I prayed for it. I got a whole tribe of new people. And did I get rid of some people? Some people I let go. Some people I moved to the outer circle. But I have friends that God ordained for me to have. And they're healthy friendships. And you can too. Number 7, develop and maintain trust in yourself and in your own judgment. Develop and maintain trust in yourself and in your own judgment. I lacked that for so long. I did not trust my thoughts. I did not trust that I could make a good decision, especially after my annulment, after that marriage. I did not trust myself at all. I just did not think that I could, because for me, how could I choose this? Like, that was the ultimate of all relationships. How could I choose this situation to be in? How could I not see this? And so I didn't trust myself. And then I would think about what I thought about. And you know what I did? I stopped making decisions. Just completely stopped making the decision. And I did nothing. I did nothing. I sat around and did nothing for about a year because I was afraid. And so going to therapy, talking with her, my last therapy session, and I think I've said it before, I tell people she kicked me out, but she really didn't. She told me, Veronica, you have everything you need. You know exactly what you want. You know how to make decisions. Don't change who you are. Don't change the fact that you're loving and giving and kind. What I want you to do is set boundaries and keep them. We've talked about boundaries. Keep your boundaries and trust that you are making the best decision for yourself. Trust that you know how to make a decision for yourself. And it is a smart decision. That's what she gave me. And she told me, you don't need me anymore. You got this. And when I left there, I was like, okay, God, she said I got this, but how? And he said, daughter, I have you. I have you. And you're fine. You keep being the loving person that you are. And trust your instinct. Trust your judgment. So I started doing that. Okay. The last thought on that one is your inner self and belief must be strong and solid so that you're not taken advantage of. So your inner belief, who you are, how you feel about yourself, it's got to be so strong that nobody can take advantage of it. So yeah, you can be kind, you can be giving, but you know how far to go. You know that you can now identify when someone is trying to be abusive or use you or be disloyal. You can see that now. The next one, accept that your relationship may change. It may change. My relationship with my friend that I shared with you, it has changed. And I'm okay with that. I was good with the change because it wasn't good for me to stay in a close relationship with this person, because I no longer trusted her. No longer trusted her. Does she do good work? Yeah. Is she still controlling? Yes, in a lot of ways. And I knew that if I stayed close to her, it would continue to cause a problem. And I didn't want that anymore. So my relationship with her has changed. My relationship with my daughter's father has changed. Yes, we had to get an annulment. Yes, we had to go our separate ways. We are now working on being cordial for the sake of my daughter. That's it. We don't have to be friends. We don't have to talk about our lives, what we're doing, where my money is going. None of it. We talk about the little girl, and that is it. So you have to decide that you can be okay with the change. Sometimes those changes require you to create space and distance and not interact so much. And in the beginning, yes, it will be painful. Yes, it will be a little challenging, but you can do it because once you start to feel the peace and the lack of anxiety in your life, the lack of stress and pressure and heaviness on your shoulder, it gets easier because you start to like that feeling. You start to crave that feeling like, listen, if creating distance is going to give me this kind of peace, this is what I want. God did not want us to live in a life with anxiety. He wanted us to live in relationship with other people, in harmony with other people. Sometimes it does not happen. Sometimes it does not work. And that's okay. We have to be okay with it. So I hope that some things I shared with you can help you to see the toxic people in your life, or the toxic relationships that we may have been in, and then look at those traits and be sure that those traits don't lie in you. And if they do, today is a good day to begin that purge. Today is a good day to start making some changes because it is not everybody else. We're not always the victim here. Sometimes we are the culprit. And as hard as it is to say, yeah, I was the victim. I was the one who would look at other people and say something negative about their success. It's because I didn't know success for myself. It's because I wasn't making decisions. I was making excuses. So today, I'm empowering you to make smart decisions. I'm empowering you to take a moment and do some self reflecting and be sure that you don't harbor those negative feelings and thoughts and emotions. And if you do, get started and do the work. Be consistent with it. Create those boundaries for yourself, you know? All right, so that's all I have for you today. I thank you for joining me for another Coffee, Tea, and Me. If you are like me and you want some really good tea, if you have migraines like I do, I suggest you go to Wellness Matters and see some of the wellnessmatters.com and see some of the great products that Miss Latasha Wells has. I think I use some of everything that she's created, but she did this special blend for me so that I can combat these migraines that I get so often right now. Anyway, you are welcome, Legina. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, if you have any issues or you want to talk more about the toxic people and how to rid them from your life and how to make changes in your own life, just reach out to me. Send me a DM. Um, yeah, you can go to my website at veronicaburnett.com, and I will be happy to talk with you and happy to get you started on your journey. I do offer a 60-minute jumpstart and a 90-minute intensive session. They are like the one and done because many people don't want to do a whole 4-week or 6-week program. Some people just want to get in, get out. So anyway, I'm going to go now. I hope you have a wonderful Saturday, a wonderful weekend. And yeah, let me know if you get to catch the replay. Let me know your thoughts. All right. Ciao for now.